2, 1, go.
Welcome to the Entrepreneur Power Hour. Today we're going to discuss a topic, taking action without worrying about taking action. So we can create our dreams, have fun, and just get out there and do it, like we're doing now. So first I want to welcome Dan Sissick. Hi, Dan. Sean Chun, and Chris Peters, our co-host.
Hello. Even though it still says Kareem Mays.
Hey, I'm in two places at once.
Split personality.
Yeah.
But I don't have split personality disorder. Okay, so let's start off with Mushin. Now, this is going to be an interesting concept because it's not something that is brought up a lot. It's not something that we talk about. So today's format, I'm going to go over what it is inquisitively. I'm not just going to say here's a definition. And we're going to do that from starting right now till about 8 o'clock. And then 8 o'clock, we're going to talk about any concerns, worries you have, maybe holding you back in your business using this concept. Then we're going to practice some techniques for about 15 minutes. And then we'll wrap up by showing the Rockstar Entrepreneurial Starters website and talk a little bit about what we're going to do in the Power Hour down the line. So let's start it off. I have a simple question for you. It's a philosophical question. You go, Kareem, what does this have to do with being an entrepreneur? If you can take that aside, the basic question that everybody asks, if a tree falls, there's no one to hear it. It doesn't make a sound.
Yeah. Of course it does. Sound is something that occurs with or without perception of it actually happening. So yeah, I would say sure. Definitely.
What did you say, Dan?
I'm going to agree with Chris. Yes, there's sound because of, I've heard, trees falling and stuff and things like that. But at the same point, there's no sound because there's nobody there to actually hear the sound as it is happening.
I like that perspective. See, Sean, are you there? He's on a call. That's fine. So here, you're the tree. You fall. This is not a tree. It's a bottle of lotion, but fine. What happens is the tree falls, and then vibrations go out into the air. But those vibrations don't become a sound until you hear it. So somebody will go, no, I need to be there. Or no, the tree makes a sound regardless. And then we can go on and on and on trying to figure that out. Kind of like, let's say, let me phrase the question and throw it into another way. Which come first, the chicken or the egg, or egg or hen?
I knew you were going to go with that one. I knew
Yeah, why not?
Because everybody goes with that one. That's one I'm not going to try to answer because...
Well, they can't both exist simultaneously. One has to procure the other. What's the word?
Produce.
One has to come before the other.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
So there has to be a chicken to lay an egg, but there has to be an egg to produce a chicken.
That's why I said I wasn't going to actively answer it in the sense because it's a similar idea as what just talked about the tree.
So, but there's got to be a chicken to make an egg, though, right? So, really, that they can't exist at the same time. Like the first egg that was ever laid by a chicken, there was only one chicken to begin with that made the first egg, and then they bred, and then like anything, evolution. But I mean, the only way we would really know for sure is if we went back and actually saw the chicken laying the first egg. But how did that chicken get there? That's a funny thing because I mean you can't have one without the other. You can't. There's got to be chicken, egg, egg, chicken. But one of them they both had to come from one another. So it's like, but they can't both exist simultaneously unless, of course, a mother hen is having, laying a lot of eggs. Then yes, there's both the chicken and the egg at the same time. But how did the first chicken actually come about from an egg? But how did that egg get laid? I mean, it's mind-boggling. It's twisted. It's some twisted logic because you have to consider that one has to be there before the other can be there. But they both have to be there because one can't exist without the other one. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I said I wasn't going to try and answer this one. The other one, the tree falling, was a little easier because,
I think sound is produced regardless.
I do too. It's just you got to have, just have to have somebody there to actively hear it.
But I mean, there is sound regardless, because it's not like it's just quiet if there's no one there to hear it. It still makes the snapping, the cracking, the velocity of the wind going up against the leaves, it hitting the ground and vibrating and making a huge, loud sound when it hits the ground. So yes, there is sound without someone there to hear it. I fully believe that.
I like it. I like all of it. I come back to it's all one process. I can't see if I sit there and go egg, hen, hen, egg, or does the tree fall? Is there a sound? And then I go, I don't know, so I'm not going to take any action. So I get in a little bit of a hang up. I get in a philosophical discussion sometimes. And then people go, what does this have anything to do with being an entrepreneur? Here's a question. Do you need customers to be successful? That's the last question.
Well, of course you do. You can't have a business without people buying what you sell. You need customers. Bottom line. You can't move any product. You don't have anyone to buy anything. You're not running a business. It's a hobby at that point.
Well, but hobby is still a form of business. It's just not one that actively produces a profit.
But that's the essence of what a business is.
But you can have times where you do make money off of a hobby that is above and beyond what you put into it.
Sure, but the essence of business is exchanging goods and services for some kind of currency.
But who sets that determination?
Unfortunately, the world, because we need money to live.
But
society, I guess.
But what I'm trying to get at is who sets the determination? Because if somebody is willing to accept and the amount that they get with their hobby, and they're fine with that, then why would that not be a business? Because most people look at businesses as being in an arbitrary makeup.
Because I think business is always in a constant state of progression and motion. And if you're not you can have a hobby and make money at a hobby, but I think a business is something that is continuous, and you're always bringing in profits and you're always selling in order for it to be a successful business and a well-oiled machine. You've got to have that cycle going continuously. Otherwise, you start to lose money and you start to lose profit. And then your business can go into the red very, very easily because of all the overhead you're going to have.
But that goes back into what has been the prescribed idea of what people think a business or being, does not necessarily make it totally true. In essence, just because that's what the standard norm is and what's been acceptable, because for a lot of years, people traded and bartered stuff, and
Sure.
they bartered, for what they needed or what was needed, and they provided a service in it. But
Sure.
but sometimes there was no real gain anywhere. They just traded. So that's why I'm coming at it. I agree with you for the most part. I'm just trying to be devil's advocate here and look at it from a.
Well, if we lived in a time when you could still trade things for everything you needed, then yeah, that can be considered a business as well, obviously. But we don't live in that reality anymore, unfortunately. We need some kind of paper object that doesn't really have any value whatsoever, and we trade that in exchange for things that we need.
Not necessarily. I have heard of subcultures and areas where people are trying to go back and revert back into that type of. So I'm not gonna necessarily agree with you that predominantly, yeah, that is what is out there and what people look at. But there are small areas that are bartering and trading and stuff like.
What's really mind blowing is that unfortunately the way the success of a business is measured is by its profit margin, and that is a pretty linear concept, but that's the way it is. I mean, that's why it's so important as an entrepreneur for you to get big, because then people realize, oh, you've sold this much, you've done this, and you create the numbers, and the numbers are the evidence. The numbers don't lie. So. But I also think there's a lot more elements that go into a successful business than just how much money you make. I think it has a lot to do with the quality of what you're offering, your services and your products. But at the same time, you can't do it for free, because we've already been down that road. And when we were all in mentoring for free, nobody valued us. Nobody valued our time. Nobody valued our experience and our skills. We weren't getting paid for any of that, and that's why. When we would call people to join our company, It Works, or we would call people to see if they were going to continue with the training from mentoring for free, it just didn't work, because everyone's like, well, you're doing it for free. Isn't there some kind of, what's the catch? What's the catch? And we got asked that so many times. And we had to lie to people and say, well, actually, there really is no catch. We're here to help you build your business, when the reality was we got them to see everything that was wrong with what they were doing, so that eventually they would want to join us in our opportunity, which was It Works Global, which had its own set of bullshit and problems. So it was a big carnival, and it was all just smoke and mirrors, and I'm really glad that we were able to figure that out before we lost a lot of money doing that. It's just
Nice.
churn and burn. It's all it is with network marketing and MLM. It's just churning and burning. We're constantly recruiting people, and if you're not building a sustainable income, because the amount of money you make, a 15% compensation plan on everything you sell per level, that's just ludicrous. You can't expect to make a millionaire out of that kind of business model. It just doesn't happen.
Okay, I like all those answers. I'm actually gonna tune this up a little bit. I wanted to start out, kind of chill, kind of slow. And how I'm going to tune it up, I have a little audio prepared for you. Let's have some fun with this and actually take it to the next level.
And he said, when water goes out of the wash basin down the drain, does it go clockwise or anti-clockwise? And this was all phrased in the middle of a very ordinary conversation. And, it just seemed like a speculative question. And I said, oh, it might go either. He said, no, like this. Now, he said, which came to first, egg or hen? I said, tuk, 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 tuk. Now, he said, that's the point. Now, it is saying too much, I warn you, to say that Zen is trying to point to the physical universe so that you could look at it without forming ideas about it. That is saying too much, but it is the general idea. It's in the direction of being the right idea. Zen people speak of the virtue of what they call Mushin, which means no mind, or Munen, no thought. That red lantern says Munen on it, no thought. This is not an anti-intellectual attitude. The ordinary simple person is just as bamboozled by thinking as a university professor. You can think intellectually in a no-think way. That's the art. It doesn't mean not to have any thoughts at all. It means not to be fooled by thoughts, not to be hypnotized by the forms of speech and images that we have for the world, not to be hypnotized by them into thinking that that is the way the world really is. So if I say this is a fan, it isn't. To begin with, fan is a noise. And this doesn't make the noise fan, but just whoosh. But it can be many other things than a fan. It could be a back scratcher. Very well. All sorts of things. Don't let words limit the possibilities of life.
Is that it?
That is it.
Where'd everybody go?
All right. I am back. So now, instead of just making this, a huge philosophical, is there trees there or chicken or anything, let's actually bring it back to talking about entrepreneurs. So we actually had some rough stuff happen today, but Dan, or I was hoping to have, some more people ask this, is there anything holding you back from doing what you want to do in your business? And I'm going to try and tie it back to what he was talking about in a practical way. And then I'll show you how I use some of this in my everyday life. And you can join in. Anybody can speak up, actually.
I didn't catch all of it. Sorry, I had something I had to fix.
That's fine.
But I think I kind of get
I'll be
the
right
gist
back.
of what he was saying. That, or what I'm thinking you're getting at is, like, for me, I know that I've got things that kind of hold me back from keep moving forward and where I want. And I have seen cycles where I can be kind of going up and down, then something happens or something goes on, and then it kind of takes the wind out of my sail, and I kind of don't do anything, and I kind of keep getting on that treadmill of doing that, and yet I'm realizing it more now and becoming more aware of it. Now I want to be able to kind of work on getting past that, and to where I take the action I need to, whether or not, no matter what's going on. And I like this idea, what you were talking about, does a tree have sound or not sound or whatever? It's a question we all ask and think about, but if you really look at it, it still does what it's going to do, no matter what. It's going to either stay standing or it's going to fall if it's at that point where something causes it to fall or whatever. There's no kind of and or if, if you kind of get where I'm going.
Yeah, I get where you're going. When you and Chris discuss, what is success and what is success, or do I need customers or do I need this? What if you said, hey, I'm going to take all the time and not discuss it and just go out and see what I can do? Same thing with, am I going up or down? Waves go up and down. Am I going backwards or forward? Where does the circle begin and end? It all goes to one thing. If I want to be an entrepreneur and I sit there and think about, am I going to be successful or not? Have I achieved success? Is this going to work? A, B, and C. I can get stuck there for a really long time. I can get stuck if one client says, for example, I don't need this, or maybe that I'm not ready to start right now, or that you do I sit there, or what do I do? I try and acquire new clients and new clients and new clients, and I don't think about the issue. So when it comes back to the circle, when it comes back to the chicken, when it comes back to the tree, or whatever it is, I don't get stuck on it. It's not really about trying to figure out what the right answer is so much as I'm going to take action now. And by not worrying about the right answer, it'll come. And I think from what you're saying, you're pushing through. You don't have to be so worried about, Kareem, am I going up? Am I down? Am I doing necessarily the right thing? If you're actually one in the moment with blogging, or one in the moment with whatever you're doing. And here, I'll put in the spelling of it for you.
Thanks. Okay, I get what you're saying, because a lot of times I think what you're getting at is how people perceive success or action, or to that effect. Whereas if I go by anything I'm doing and whatever I'm doing, as long as I'm doing something, that still is success. I'm still taking action and still doing something towards what I want to do, towards achieving my dreams and my goals. Now, might somebody else look at it and agree? They may not. And that's where that goes back to perceptions of what people perceive as success in general. So, and even I have my own preconceived ideas of what success is based on what I've been taught, what I've grown up with, stuff like that. But if you kind of go back to that, breaking it back down to just taking an action step, that's a success. That's a moving forward. That's a doing something that's, but not worrying about anything more than just doing that. And I can get and understand and like that idea.
Yeah. I still think there's a wrong way to do something, though. Because if you're out there trying to sell your products and you don't know what you're doing, nobody's going to buy what you want, what you have to offer. So there's a wrong way to sell and there's a right way to sell. And the right way to sell is to make sure that your clients know that you have their best interests at heart and that you care about their business and their happiness and their satisfaction. That's the whole point of why we buy things. We don't buy things because we want to help another person. We buy things because of how they make us feel. Emotional attachment is the main ingredient in sales. And from what I've learned, you got to make the client's goal your goal and vice versa. And if you don't have the skills to do that, you can't sell anything. You could list the benefits of using your products. You could have a mile list long of why your product and service is better than every other business out there that specializes in the same field. If you don't know the psychology of sales and the psychology of your clients and what they want to do and where they want to go as a result of hiring you, as a result of utilizing your services, you can't sell them anything. So there is a wrong way to do things, just like there's a right way to do things. And those polarities exist. So I wouldn't call going out there every day for 5 years and not selling a thing succeeding at all. That's not succeeding. that may be an unwillingness to quit, and that in itself is success. But the aspect of going out there for 5 years and never selling anything is you're not succeeding. So that's how I think about it.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm just going to pour a drink here.
With a funnel. It's spilling all over your computer.
That's actually, I took my keyboard off. Now here's my. Now I know you're gonna say, Kareem, this is crazy. Why are you like overfilling a glass for no reason on the power hour and doing all these weird things?
No.
If I was going, let's say I went out there for 5 years, and let's say I sold something or I didn't. Now, what defines what success is?
That's something I was going to ask. Who has the ultimate distinction of setting the parameter of what success is? I know society has set up parameters on what they think it is, and I think there are some keys to knowing success, but
Yeah, but if you're not selling anything, your business isn't thriving. Bottom line. I mean, you can apply this to other areas of life, I'm sure, but when it comes to succeeding at something, you got to be making some kind of progression. And if you're out there trying the same thing over and over and over and it's not working, then you're not succeeding. Simple. The results don't lie. And the results are what ultimately define what success is the results you get. Now, if those results are unfavorable to your situation and they're unfavorable to the life you're striving to create, that's not success. If they are favorable, you're moving forward, your business is progressing, you're thriving, that's progression, that's succeeding. And that's the polarity I'm talking about. Now, you can perceive running out there doing that for 5 years and not getting anywhere and go, yeah, I'm still successful, but that's delusional. That's entirely delusional.
that's according to how you see it. I'm not disagreeing, because I would say, yeah, I agree. I'm not being successful, but for somebody else that wherever they're at, and they're saying to them for what they in their own mind are thinking that's successful, then in their eyes they're successful.
Okay. That's not what I'm talking about, but yeah.
How about this? Maybe before you get out there, I would say that's pretty bad if you're actually out there for 5 years and you don't sell anything.
I agree.
What if you got out there? What if you got out there and without discuss, you knew you were successful? What if you're already successful now and you just get out there and make it?
That doesn't happen.
Manifest into reality.
But that doesn't happen. You're not successful until the results actually happen. That's how you measure it. That's the cause and the effect of the action. Now, results, you could say that both negative and positive results are in essence success, because if you get unfavorable results, that can cause you to come back and go, okay, what do I need to do differently? Yes, I can see that. But if you're doing the same thing over and over and over and you're still not having any progression, successful results, that isn't success anymore.
Was I unsuccessful when I was trying to fill up this cup? You can answer that.
I'm not even, that doesn't apply to this. That's completely different.
Yeah, it does.
It's easy to pour water into a glass.
I'm not. It has nothing to do with the water in the glass. Was I unsuccessful when I poured the water in the glass? It spilt all over my desk. The desk is wet. I'm cleaning it with a sock, but
It's wet.
Okay.
I got what? But actually, here's the funny thing. My desk, for a while, had some sunflower seeds and stuff, and I said, hey, it needs to be clean. So why not clean it on the Entrepreneur Power Hour? You know, might as well. I have some time. Same way with getting out there. I'm not saying results don't exist. What I'm saying is how I look at the results. It's not to say, oh, okay, don't go out there and sell anything or go out there or and get clients or lose clients. I'm looking at it as I spilt water on my desk. Now I have the opportunity to clean it up and it's clean. Now it's better. Maybe getting out there for however long, I'm not going to say necessarily 5 years because that would be ridiculous. But getting out there for a while and having some failure with, like we said, MFF or the Power Hour or whatever it is, keeps bringing new things. So sometimes getting out there and knowing that I'm going to be successful because I know it here brings in success without even worrying about what success is. What do you think, Dan?
Well, I think what you're doing is removing, finding a way to remove barriers that people put up because they think they're looking for some sort of benchmark, and you still need benchmarks so you know that you are moving forward.
I can't hear you. Did you mute your mic?
No, I'm not muted.
No, I still can't hear you. What happened?
Can you hear me?
I hear you. Sean can hear. I can hear him.
Okay.
Oh no, I hit the button on my computer. Sorry.
Oh, no. No, I was just going to say, sometimes if you kind of using it as kind of what I was alluding to is if you kind of use it as a way to kind of fake yourself out by not worrying so much and taking off the parameters of, am I succeeding? Did I get 100 sales today? No, I went out and did something. I moved forward. I moved towards what my goal is of eventually getting a sale. And
then you get the sale.
Then yes, and you take off that pressure and you take off that built-in pressure that we tend to do to ourselves, because then it goes back to comparing and putting yourself up against everybody else, saying, well, they're doing this much, so why am I not doing that much? And then we kind of go to that type of, well, I'm not successful then. Well, no, I was successful because I got myself out there. I'm working towards getting that first sale or getting that fifth sale or getting that 10th sale or whatever it is I'm working towards. Still doesn't mean you don't need parameters, still doesn't mean you don't need goals and benchmarks to make sure that you are working towards that, so that way you know what direction you're headed. But to kind of remove some of that pressure and make it easier for you to take that action when you're sitting there taking no action at all because you're so worried about it all.
I like it. I like where you're going with that. Now, can you take that to, let's say, trying something with accounting or working with Sean and also building your blog up at the same time without going, is this going to work? Is that going to work? Realize that you have the capability already and that you will make the sales without worrying about it, or you will get the results without worrying about it. See, the results come because of what's in here. I'm a fundamental believer. It has to start in here and then come out there. If you can be successful in this, whether it's being an accountant, a blogger, video, or just going out there and talking to people, then they'll see it out there. It's more of a feeling than trying to rationalize it all out.
Okay, I'm going to throw out a question. I'm going to throw it to Sean because he's and you guys can throw it in too. Like when you guys got started, and I know part of your background of how you guys started and what you guys did, but in your heart and did you believe in your heart that you were going to be successful and always knew you were going to get there? So why how do I say this without, why was there such a struggle to get to that point?
Because we didn't have the knowledge.
For me, it's a fundamental thing for me. So for me, it's about, okay. So business, and this is why most entrepreneurs I feel make the critical mistake, is they focus on the money. They focus on the money, they focus on the sales. At the end of the day, people aren't giving you money just to give you money. People aren't going to give you the sale just to give you the sale, because the sale doesn't make them feel good. I mean, it might, but it's not their main motivation. So for me, the fundamental difference is that it's about, you're successful if you actually accomplish something and you fill a need that somebody has. It can be any kind of need. It can be a materialistic need somebody has. It can be a psychological need somebody has. It can be, as long as you feel that need that somebody has. Like I tell people, you can be a millionaire, you can be a billionaire, but looking back on it, like once you reach that level, what are you going to say? What are you going to do? Right? So for me, I approach it more as, I want to make sure that, to my definition of success is that I am fulfilling that need the best I can, right? And I feel every business in some way fundamentally does that. No successful business goes after the money first, because you're going to get, at one point you're not going to make the money, and then you're going to be out of business. So it's about fundamentally knowing what your definition of success, changing what your definition of success is. Definition of success shouldn't be the amount of sales you have, the amount of customers you have. That'll happen as long as you're fulfilling and you're looking after that need. What you gotta do is look, if like I'm a millionaire, whatever it goes, you're a billionaire, multi-billionaire, you're looking back upon it and looking like, okay, now what do I do? I reached my goal, what do I do now? Or what have I done now, right? So going into, to answer your question, Dan, I never know if I'm going to be successful or not prior to entering something, but I do know that I'm going to try to fulfill that need first. And as long as I have that in my passion, my heart, that, yeah, you know what, I'm going to change. I have a passion for this and I'm going to make it better. I'm going to help people in some way be better in whatever way it is. If you're a doctor, you do your best to be the best doctor. You're a lawyer, be the best lawyer, right? Your business, you be the best business, right? And I think every good, true entrepreneur, successful entrepreneur in history has done that. They're never after the money. Money never came first for them. They always, like Steve Jobs, he saw a vision, right? He's like, I believe this personal computer in every home. It should be easy to use. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about, I don't care how much I don't care how much money dumped into this project, as long as I'm able to make a difference. Right? As long as a little 7-year-old kid can easily work this iPad, right? That's all that matters to him. And by doing that, it doesn't matter. Everybody told him he's crazy. It's like, nobody's gonna buy a computer for that much money. Who's gonna spend that on that? But his goal was to help people. And I think you don't know what success is gonna be, but as long as you have that passion and goal within you, and you pursue that, and you want to make a difference in people's lives, hopefully for the better, then you'll be able to just push through it, and then you'll find success through that means. Does that answer your question?
Kind of, sort of, but what I'm saying is, deep down in your heart of hearts, and also like people like Steve Jobs and
Mhm.
you know the Wright brothers and people
Mhm.
like that
Mhm.
who
Ford. Mhm.
had that passion and that dream of you know like flying.
Mhm.
Now I believe in my heart that they really believe they would accomplish that goal, and I
Correct.
believe they. So therefore, I believe that they believed they were going to be successful.
Mhm.
So I think in order to be able to feel, partially feel that passion, whether or not you care about the money or anything, because with them it wasn't about the money either. It
Mhm.
was about the succeeding in reaching that goal, and they believed it in their heart. That's what I'm trying to get at, and I think that's what I believe. What was part of what was in your heart, part what you know, Chris's and
Mhm.
Kareem's heart, that they really believed that what they were working towards and what you were working towards, you could fulfill that and achieve it.
Yeah, as long as
Okay.
you have the passion, I feel like I said, as long as I feel that if as long as you have the passion to achieve it, then yeah, you're gonna want to keep pushing toward that goal. So yeah, of course you have to have that. You have to have the confidence that it's going to be successful. You can't come in as a pessimistic point of view. You have to be optimistic about it in the beginning, but at the same time, you got to keep in mind you got to also know when to quit, right? Or when to change strategy, when to pivot as well. So I feel like it's a mix of things in that respect, right? But yeah, I did, to answer your question directly, yes, I did have confidence that it's going to be successful. It's going to be successful.
And I know Kareem and Chris had it because I've seen them from pretty much the beginning and seen where they've come and getting to and the success they're having now. So in that sense,
Oh,
and
we've
I
only
think
just begun, Dan. Believe me.
I know, and with that, I think the fact that they, you and they have, and I with my own business, even though I've had my ups and downs, um, you didn't really necessarily worry about all the other things going on, or if you were achieving the same type of success that somebody else was having, you weren't really benchmarking against them. You were benchmarking towards what you were working towards, maybe using other people as maybe a guide slightly to keep you focused on the direction you're going. And I think that's, for me, I think that's where I'm learning more and more, even through the value of being here on Tuesdays,
Mm-hmm.
is, you know, realizing that I don't, you know, people, you don't have to necessarily have it all in place, but you
No.
have to have it really there and have that real,
Mm-hmm.
like Steve Jobs did. He really believed in, you know, and look what came to fruition, you know. So I think that's one, but I also am trying to struggle with and understand how, when you have that, why people like me and others can't seem to keep it going that way. And that's where I think a lot of entrepreneurs run into trouble.
So are you saying it's a passion aspect for you? Why you can't keep it that way? Or
No, I'm trying to see. I do have my dreams. I do have my desires, and you know, like Kareem and Chris, you know, but I see where a lot of like Steve Jobs, you know, Elon Musk, and people like that,
Mhm.
how they have kept going even with all the setbacks. Whereas a lot of regular entrepreneurs, and I myself included at times, have let things around. Going back to Kareem's idea of the Mushin, just, you know, don't worry about it, keep going.
Mhm.
That's, you know, that's what I'm trying to help bring out, so people can get a better understanding of why they let themselves do that. If you, I can't verbalize it. Never mind.
Okay. For me, it's a passion thing. You have to be passionate about something, and if you aren't passionate about something, it's gonna you're not going to be able to push through it. You got to be able to visualize the end result.
The end result,
You have
exactly.
to visualize the end result in some means or manner, right?
Yep.
To be like, and it has to be something not materialistic. That's the problem, right? You can't be like, you can't have a goal. It's like, I want to be a millionaire. That's fine to have the goal, but but none of them start off like that, right? All great entrepreneurs, they never start off like the Google brothers or Zuckerberg. They never started Facebook because I want to be a millionaire. They didn't go after the money. They were like, they all have alternative motive. Even the Minecraft guy, he just wanted to create a game that he liked, right? So it's you gotta have, they have those as long as you have the passion to do it, it's just a matter of then seeing that goal of other people, right? Like seeing, if you're Steve Jobs, he actually visualizes the kids in the classroom using computers,
Yeah.
right? Visualize it. And that's what you have to have in mind. And your goal has to be that. And with that goal, when you reach that goal, the money will come with it. But you got to always keep that visually focused in your mind in order to then go after it. Now, if you don't have that focus and you can't visualize that dream, then I can see you getting lost along the way and then changing direction. But you gotta be able to understand and always be constantly reminded, like, this is where I want to be. This is how I want to help people. I want to see people on product. I want to see people with my service. I want to see businesses with my product. That's where you have to be at. Does that
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree entirely. You can't just wing it. You can't just go out there and be like, I have a goal. You've got to know what that goal is. You got to plan, do, review, adjust. You have to have a definite chief aim. You have to have faith. You have to have organized planning. You have to have a mastermind. I mean, there's so many elements that enter into all of it. You can't just go out there and say, yeah, I'm going to be successful. If you don't have a plan, you're pretty much screwed. So,
Mhm.
Well, I have a plan. Let's do this. Sean was talking about you have to see your end goal.
so was I.
And then Dan was asking questions about that. So, are you guys passionate about the present?
Yeah.
This one in.
All right.
Clarify that for everybody.
Here, I'll clarify that. I will.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's where it ends. Ouch. Okay, that one's good.
Now that you're in the present and everything's clear, can you see that end goal?
There we go.
So does that help clarify? We're all moving to our goals. We're all being present. We're not worried about it. Now you just take that, get out there, be 100% with you, with everything around you, and hey, you'll probably get that result. You'll probably make 500 sales in a few days, maybe. Do you want to show Rockstar, Chris, or should I?
No, I'm working on this video, Cream.
Okay. Very quickly. See my screen?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so wouldn't it be great to have whatever you're doing, whether you're selling hot dogs out of, the back of a van or making light bulbs in your basement or whatever it is you do? I don't judge much. Let's say that you say, I want to get it out there on the second, soon to be the first biggest search engine in the world. So all my friends can see, so people can see, maybe even potential customers. Well, hit us up at Rockstar Starters, and you can find some really fun video aspects. Not only that, but we'll guide you on how to make a YouTube channel, shoot video for you. And finally, if you're really, really nice, we'll do a 30-day promise for you and do 3 revisions to make the videos how you want. So go to Rockstar Starters and hit us up today. Thanks, guys.
We done?
We done.